All right, we got a banger of a show today. We got this guy, CFO in Florida, and his name is. And guys, look, I had to look up how to pronounce his name. You see up here, and we're gonna click over here, and you pronounce it Blaze Ingola, Ingolia. It's like, what is happening? What is happening? But this guy, I like this guy. This is a good guy. He wants to call for politicians to be imprisoned and judges to be removed and stripped of their pensions for aiding illegal aliens. And you're like, well, okay, well, this should be a no-brainer, right? And look, up in your left-hand corner, we got Branca. He's doing a live show right now, and I cannot watch it because I'm doing this show. But he's covering on a live show, and I'm going to put his link in the description so you could go watch this, because I am going to go watch this later. And I usually speed it up a little bit because the show's like an hour and a half or so, but I'll speed it up like normal, and then the next one up, boom, and I get through it, and it's pleasurable to listen to. It's not hard on the brain or the ear. But he's going over a Hispanic judge rebels against immigration laws. And I took a deeper dive into what is happening here. What is going on? Why is this why are we having to talk about this? This should be laws already on the book. You shouldn't be harboring and abetting illegals or a criminal for that matter, or any kind of criminal. So we got CFO Blaze Ngoli calls for politicians to be imprisoned and judges to be removed and stripped of their pensions for aiding illegal aliens. All right, let's get here. The easiest way to get rid of these sanctuary policies is to change the politicians. To charge the politicians as an accessory to the crime. When an illegal immigrant commits crimes in their sanctuary jurisdictions, I can't even talk this morning, that they voted for, that would stop it real quick. I am personally tired of hearing the stories of angel moms that have lost a child because of ridiculous pro-immigration, pro-illegal immigration policies and pro-illegal immigration rulings by activist judges. So what he's saying, the easiest way to get rid of these sanctuary policies is to charge them to accessory. Personally, I think that if a pro-amnesty judge lets an illegal immigrant go free, and then we find out that that illegal immigrant committed a heinous crime such as rape or murder, then that judge should be removed from the bench and she or he should lose their pension. I think it should go further than that. And I just read what he said. Okay, here we go. Well, what does the law say about all this? Or were you guys wondering? Because I know I was. Okay, because this, again, I'm going to say, and I'm just a little peon. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. You know, I'm retarded on a lot of different things. But it seems like it's a no-brainer that there's laws that you come into the country, it's illegal, it's a crime already. So why are judges in other states and mayors and governors, judges, even regular folk, protecting illegals? And why are we not using the laws we already have to stop it? I don't know. Let's find out. What is happening? I mean, aren't y'all at least bit curious? I know I am. The U.S. Constitution does not contain any specific articles or provisions directly addressing the harboring of undocumented immigrants, often referred to as illegal aliens. In older legal contexts, immigration and nationalization are broadly authorized as federal power under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4, which grants Congress the authority to establish an uniform rule of naturalization. However, the details of immigration enforcement, including crimes related to harboring, are governed by federal status. Enacted by Congress, not the Constitution itself. The three branches of government play roles in this area as follows. Because, see, I was wanting to know what did the Constitution say about this, but apparently it's the branches of government that go by the Constitution in acting the laws. Is from what I understand it, they go hand in hand. And we're going to find out. Legislation branch enacts laws on immigration such as the Immigration and Nationalization Act, INA, which includes provisions on harboring. Congress has broad plenary power over immigration policy, but it must operate within constitutional limits like due process. So here we have, okay, so your legislative branch is Congress, ladies and gentlemen. You are getting a civics lesson today, and I am as well. Executive branch, president and agencies like DHS, ICE, and DOJ. Enforces immigration laws, including persecuting violations related to harboring. The executive interprets and implements statutes through regulations and enforcement priorities. So that's your president, guys, and these other agencies that he's been deploying all over the country. And now we have judicial branch, which is your courts. Interprets laws not governed from the bench and ensures they comply with the Constitution. For example, courts have ruled that undocumented immigrants within the U.S. are entitled to due process protections under the Fifth and Fourth Amendments, regardless of status. Well, okay. Harboring undocumented immigrants is a federal crime under 8 U.S.C. Article 1324, part of the INA. This statute makes it illegal for any person who, knowing or in reckless disregard of the fact that an individual is in the U.S. unlawfully, conceals, harbors, or shields them from detection or attempts to do so in any place, including a building or a vehicle. To prove a violation, prosecutors generally must show. So now, yes, it's a crime. They're saying, yep, harboring undocumented aliens is a federal crime under this article. And here it is. So the prosecutors would have to prove the individual being harbored into or remained in the U.S. unlawfully. That would probably be easy because Biden let millions of them in. We know they're here illegally. So, just saying. The accused concealed, harbored, or shielded them. Now, y'all remember that judge, that lady judge? I didn't pull it up. I probably should have been more thorough. But, guys, go look it up. She was convicted a few months ago. She was caught trying to sneak an illegal alien from her courtroom out back because ICE was outside. And some ICE agents were in the building, but they were in plain clothes, and they saw what was happening. They arrested her. She was found guilty in a federal court. She lost. She was removed from the bench, but Branca, I watched his show on it a while back. He says she could later on become an attorney or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'm like, what? She should be completely barred for anything. She should be able to not go anywhere near any kind of law or anything. But we know the left props up these people. The accused knew or recklessly disregarded the individual's unlawful status. And that's what that judge did. The accused action substantially facilitated the individual remaining in the U.S. unlawfully, though some courts, like in the Seventh Court, do not require this fourth element. Harboring is not strictly defined in the status, but has been interpreted by courts to include actions like providing shelter, employment, transportation, false documents, or warnings about immigration. So, my issue is with this. Look at this. Providing shelter, employment. Employment. Look at all these companies in different states that employ these people. Why aren't they getting prosecuted? Why are they not? I just saw a case, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where they were going after these two illegals, and guess what? These two illegals were painters for different companies. They were like a contract guys. Like one painter company's like, hey man, I need a couple guys, and then boom, these Mexicans come up and show up, and he takes them to a job. How many times have you guys rode around town wherever you live? And this is probably happening all over America. I saw a stat last night, like, 23% of the Mexican population is in America. It's insane. It's insane. But, again, when you go around and then you're seeing they're on construction sites or they're doing landscaping, how many of those are here legit? Legit. And why isn't this statue being... I mean, for decades. We've been seeing this for years. And nobody has been enforcing any laws whatsoever. You should be outraged. What is happening? False documents and warnings about immigration. Now, look, why I was bringing up this point of employment in the little thing I saw yesterday is they had committed some crimes. So my thought was, while I was watching this news brief on these two individuals that they caught, is that why wouldn't the employers, whoever he was working for, the illegal was working for, why weren't they charged with a crime for employing them? Why isn't Amazon getting charged with a crime for employing them? It gets worse. Immigration enforcement, if done to help the person avoid detection and remain illegal. This applies to anyone, not just smugglers or employers, though courts vary slightly in their definitions across circuits. It is better for me to read it over here because it's bigger. Yeah, my eyes! My eyes! Penalties for harboring. Violation under 8 U.S.C. Article 1324. I think that's how y'all say it, guys. I know, I'm retarded. Depend on the circumstances. Generally, fine and up to 5 years in prison per person harbored. If done for commercial advantages or private financial gain, up to 10 years. Are you not harboring and you're financially gaining? I'm just thinking out of the box here, if you employed illegals. So you're gaining money because you're paying them under the table. If it causes serious bodily injury or places someone's life in jeopardy, up to 20 years. If it results in death of any person, up to life imprisonment or the death penalty. None of this, and it's in the laws, guys, right there for your eyes to see. None of this is being issued. None of these laws are being enforced. How many illegals we seen get arrested for something? DUI, domestic dispute, violence, whatever, assault. And they know they're illegal. They come into the blue states with these black robe, tyrannical, inferior judges, like this Mexican one up in the corner here. So this individual comes in his courtroom because he's DUI, assault, whatever he's brought in for. They know he's illegal. They release him. The judge releases him. Tells him to come back in wherever his court date is. And this individual goes out and kills somebody. To me, I think that judge should be put to death. He gets the death penalty. He aided and abetting. He knew this guy was illegal. He's already committed crimes. They didn't call ICE. They let him go. And how many times have we seen that? This is where my brain is going with all of this. And this has been happening, especially under the Biden administration, where they were just catch and release, catch and release. And then also in California right now, Nick Shirley's out there right now doing, I saw a clip of his stuff, but he was talking to one of the residents, and the resident was saying that it's so bad because they're not enforcing any laws anymore. Like, you walk down the street, cops coming down the road, and dudes on the sidewalk smoking a crack pipe. Once upon a time, he would be picked up and put in jail. Now it's like nothing. They give them bags with needles, the rubber thing to put around their arm. They give them Narcan. I think that's what it's called. And they just give them this stuff. So this would be in any case, not just the judge, but let's say there's a neighbor. There's a neighbor who harbors a guy. We had an incident not too long ago where somebody was harboring an illegal. But if they harbor illegal and it results in death of any person, it's up to life in prison or the death penalty. None of this has been implemented in the United States, to my knowledge. And this is crazy. Because how many judges, again, have we seen where police officers arrest these illegals for other type of crimes, then the judge just releases them back out into the wild, and then they go kill somebody? The judges should be held responsible. So maybe if Florida passed that bill, it should go across the United States. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. I had asked it about committing the crime, so the person harboring them would face charges and penalties for harboring offenses itself, as outlined. However, they would not automatically be liable for the murder unless they directly participated in, aided, abetted, or conspired to commit the murder, which could lead to separate charges under federal or state laws such as 18 U.S.C. Article 2 for aiding and abetting. Well, I think it would be aiding and abetting. You knew he's a criminal. What about that guy that killed that woman on the bus, on the train? He wasn't an illegal, but good God, he had like a mile record. And we've seen a lot of these illegals with mile-long records, and they keep just getting let out into the wild amongst us all. If the murder is a direct result of harboring violations, death occurs during the act of harboring as a approximate cause, the enhanced penalties under 8 U.S.C. 1324 could apply, potentially including life imprisonment or the death penalty. If the murder, okay, so we read that. While the murder would be prosecuted separately, potentially under state homicide laws or federal laws if it involves interstate elements or other federal jurisdiction. Let's see, note that the recent legislative efforts, such as the Justice for Victims or Illegal Alien Murders Act introduced into Congress in 2025, aim to create new federal offenses specifically for murders committed by undocumented immigrants with penalties up to life or death for the murder. But this does not directly impose additional liability or harborers unless they are involved in the crime, which I disagree with that. Enforcement and outcomes can vary by jurisdiction, and state laws may also apply currently. Okay, here we go. Now keep in mind, in Florida, they are wanting to pass a law, to stop these black robe tyrannical judges that were probably appointed by Biden or Obama or Clinton. They'd probably be really old by now, but these left-wing leaning libtards who they go seek them out, these federal tyrannical judges with a left-wing agenda, they need to be prosecuted. And I agree. I hope they get that law passed. I have no idea if they will, guys, but it's insane, right? It's just insane. Let's see, what do we got here? We got We got Article 8, titled Bringing in and Harboring Certain Aliens. It's part of the Immigration and Nationality Act and criminalizing various activities related to undocumented immigrants, referred to as aliens in the statute. Subsection suspiciously addresses harboring, making it a federal offense for any person who, knowing or reckless disregard of the fact that an alien has come to, entered, or remains in the United States in violation of laws, conceals, harbors, or shields from detection or attempts to do so, such alien in any place, including any building or any means of transportation. Again, we saw that judge do it. She was like, hey, go out the back because ICE is here, sneaking them out the back. And she was found guilty. Let's see. What do we got here? We got... To prove a violation of this harboring provision, the government must generally establish the following core elements to interpret by federal courts and the Department of Justice. Well, good God, I think if they're in here illegally, they know they are. The alien's unlawful presence. The individual alien must have come to, entered, or remain in the United States in violation of federal immigration law. This includes undocumented entry, overstaying a visa, and other branches of immigration status. Knowledge of recklessness and disregard. The defendant must have known or acted in reckless disregard of the fact that the alien's presence in the United States was unlawful. How about all those protesters? Yeah, what are they doing protesting ICE? They're defending these illegals. They're disrupting ICE movement. They're just interfering. I think they should all be arrested for interfering. They know these people are illegal, so they are breaking this law. The reckless disregard means deliberately indifference to the facts that would indicate a high probability of unlawful status, such as ignoring obvious signs like lack of documentation, admission of illegal entry, circumstantial evidence like prior interactions or context can suffice to prove this. Let's see. Act of concealing, harboring, or shielding from detection. The defendant must have taken action to conceal, harbor, or shield the alien from detection by immigration authorities. Isn't that what the protesters are doing? And attempted to do so. The statute does not define these terms precisely, but courts have interpreted them broadly. Let's see. Harboring means often providing shelter, employment, transportation, or other assistance that helps the alien avoid detection and remain in the U.S. illegally. Wouldn't you think just this right here? Providing shelter, employment, transportation? Isn't that what they're doing in Minnesota? Isn't that what they're doing in California? The whole bloody state? I think this guy in Florida not just go after these judges, but they need to go after the mayors and the governors. I don't know what is happening. Look, guys, you're seeing the laws right here. Why are they not being enforced? Concealing or shielding from detection can include providing false documents, warnings about enforcement, or hiding the alien. Mere cohabitation or passive association, living with a family member, is typically not enough without intent to aid invasion. Some federal circuits, the 2nd, 7th, and 9th, add a fourth element requiring that defendant's actions substantially facilitated the alien remaining in the U.S. unlawfully, meaning the conduct must meaningfully aid invasion rather than being incidental. Other circuits do not require this, leading to variations in how the statute is applied across the country. The offense is typically a felon with penalties varying based on circumstances per alien involved. Did y'all see the case of the Irishman? And he is white. They are deporting him. He came in the country in 2000, it was either 2006 or 2008. He's been here for like 17 years. He came in, he didn't have anything. They're like, okay, we can let you stay in, but you got to leave in 90 days. So he didn't get a visa, he didn't get a green card. They're like, okay. I mean, why are we even doing that? When I was watching this case last night, I'm like, why are we even doing that? You let this person in. You don't know who he is. And you just let him in and say, okay, well, you need to leave in 90 days. Well, somehow he gets nabbed, ladies and gentlemen. He gets nabbed. Now, like a year ago, he marries a white woman. He found him a white woman, American white woman, thinking he's going to be able to stay. And then he goes and applies for a visa or a green card. Guess what? He is being shipped back. He got his due process. He signed papers. Well, I guess when he came in and he signed that, yeah, he can only be here for 90 days. And he overstayed for 17 years. That's over 5,000 days. So do we want him to pay a fine and then kick him out? Well, a family that illegally crosses the border, we can just deport them. They can stay together. And then, I mean, his wife can go with him, and they can go to Ireland. But there was a judge who was like kind of sympathetic to him, but she couldn't. It was a woman judge, by the way. But no, the law is the law. There's no getting around it. So the Trump administration is having this guy removed, and of course the left are livid. Base. Fine under Title 18 and up to 5 years in prison. This is the offenses is typically a felon with penalties varying. If for commercial advantage or private financial gain, up to 10 years. So again, we're back to this for commercial gain we talked about earlier. Well, why are all these companies for years have been employing these illegals, paying them under the table? And I can guarantee these illegals throughout these several years who worked for different companies throughout the United States have committed murder. Most certainly, statistically, that is the case. It causes serious bodily injury or jeopardizes life up to 20 years. If resulting in death of an American citizen, up to life imprisonment or the death penalty. Wouldn't we like to see any of this implemented? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now this right here, I'm not too sure about, because I don't think a church can be harboring illegals. But this says this is an exemption for certain religious organizations providing volunteer-based assistance to ministers or missionaries. This status is enforced by federal authorities like ICE and DOJ. Interpretations can evolve through case law. I don't know about all that. So, of course, I asked, can these laws apply to a judge? I mean, I was already assuming that these laws should. So like that woman, that judge who was found guilty in a federal court, she's probably only going to serve like 2 years, and then the left is going to put her back on a pedestal because they reward retard behavior. But let's say this a judge does this, and illegal goes out. She harbored him because she was sneaking him out of the back. Let's say another judge did the same thing she did, but don't get caught. But the illegal she lets slip out the back. She aided and abetted, and he goes and kills somebody. Whether stabs him, shoots him, DUI, whatever. She should get the death penalty. He or she. I think that should apply equally. Knowingly that they were an illegal. This should apply to these black robe tyrannical judges. This is saying yes, because I asked it the question, can this apply to judges? So prosecutions are rare and often hinged on whether their actions constituted active harboring, which we've already seen in one case. with the Trump administration and their attorneys, one did. It was all on camera, too. Concealing, shielding, and facilitating evasion from detection rather than routine judicial decisions, or whether judicial impunity protects them. Why should it protect them if they know that they're an illegal, committed a bunch of crimes, come into their court, and then releases them? This is what this guy in California is wanting to hold them accountable. But I think with these articles for the branch, judicial branch, and for the executive branch, clearly state that they can be held liable. Why is Florida having to create a whole new debt blame law? What is happening here? I don't understand. I'm just trying to figure this out with y'all. The statute's broad language, any person who knowingly or recklessly disregards an individual's unlawful status and conceals, harbors, shields them from detection, does not exempt judges or other officials. Okay, good. However, courts have emphasized that pervasive non-cooperation, declining to honor ICE detainers, or shared information does not qualify as harboring, while active interference, directing someone to evade agents might. Why would that not be? Now, I think this last part is what they're saying is kind of that's what that woman was charged with. She was trying to sneak the guy out of the back because he was coming to an illegal, coming to her courtroom. He has committed a crime. Plus, he's already in the country illegally, and he commits a crime in the United States. She's trying to sneak him out the back. So what's the difference here? This does not qualify as harboring, while active interference, directing someone to evade agents, might be? This is vague language, guys. Doesn't it get on your nerves? Application to judges, potentially liability. Judges, like other state and local officials, lack sovereign immunity from federal prosecution under this statute. Now, especially if these are federal judges, right? I don't know, guys. If a judge's actions go beyond judicial rulings, setting bail or releasing someone, and involve deliberate efforts to help an undocumented individual avoid ICE detection, such as allowing exit through a non-public door or providing warnings, they can face charges, which we did see this in that case. But these judges already know these people are illegal when they come into their court. Why can't there be something very basic and simple? Police are out enforcing the law. A retard illegal gets picked up for one reason or another. As soon as they come in, they don't have any proper documentation. They don't have jack. They should immediately be calling ICE. What is happening here? Is this like a no-brainer? To me, this is a no-brainer. Routine judicial acts like releasing an undocumented defendant on bond without intent to shield them from immigration enforcement typically do not meet the elements. Why? Why would this undocumented defendant on bond without intent to shield them from immigration enforcement typically does not meet the elements? What? Like releasing. How do they you can't read into a crystal ball. You don't know who this illegal is. He's some guy that they was brought into your courtroom. He's committed a crime. He's committed 2 crimes, or whatever how many crimes he has committed. Because number one, he's already committed a crime because he's here illegally. Now he's brought into your courtroom because he's done something. And you release him. And he goes and kills somebody. You're going to say, what? Well, I couldn't. That's right. You can't foresee the future. So why, in God's name, would you let him out? This is another point I'm trying to make of why these judges should be removed. And I can't understand why the law can't be even more clear. Why are judges getting to be able to get away with this? Why are sanctuary cities being able to get away with this? As they lack the required substantial facilitation or intent in most circuits. Notable cases. What do we have here in 2019? A Massachusetts state court judge. Oh man, what is going to happen in this case? In 2019, a Massachusetts state court judge, Shelley M. Joseph, was federally indicted under related obstruction statutes. Not directly 1324, but for similar conduct for allegedly helping an undocumented immigrant evade ICE by allowing a rear exit from the courthouse. Let's see here. The case was later dropped, but the First Circuit ruled that appeals on immunity grounds were premature, and indicating such charges are valuable if facts support them. Here we go. In 2025, a Wisconsin judge, Hannah Dugan, was arrested and charged with concealing an individual to prevent arrest and obstruction after directing an undocumented immigrant through a side exit to avoid ICE. Boy, they all know what to do, right? Both of these judges done the same thing. She pled not guilty and is challenging the charges on judicial immunity grounds. These black robe tyrannical judges think they can just create law and rule law from the bench. They do not. This is why we have separate branches. They are just supposed to go by the law and instructions of the law and the laws in the Constitution and the laws in the states on the books. They're not supposed to just create it out of thin air. Or tell President Trump, you have to give these people the SNAP money. This is retarded, and this is what we've been seeing them do. And all of these judges have been either Biden, Clinton, or Obama appointees. And they did this for a reason, y'all. They appointed these people for a reason. And most of them are DEI hires. And there's a bunch of them who aren't even American citizens. And that's another thing that needs to change. That these federal judges are not even American citizens. They have dual citizenships. This should be no. No, 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 no. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. These examples show the DOJ's willingness to pursue judges for actions perceived as active interference, even if outcomes may vary. What is this? Judicial immunity considerations? What? No, there should be no considerations. Absolute judicial immunity? I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. They all need to be gone. They all need to be impeached. Judges generally enjoy absolute immunity from civil suits and often criminal liability for acts performed in the judicial capacity, rooted in common law and the need for independent decision making. I think to some basis, yes. Yes. We had a judge when that Samayan guy was found guilty by a jury for stealing $7.2 million of taxpayer money in Minnesota. The judge said, nah, I don't like this ruling that the jury handed down, and let him go. That, I think, is under investigation because why? I mean, she has to write out a statement of why she did it. She'd have to refer back to other case laws to give reasoning of why she did this in her decision making. But I'm telling you, it's important, and you better get out and vote up here in the primary elections coming up, and we need to keep Republicans in office because, guys, if we don't, and we get another libtard on the SCOTUS, we're in big trouble, and we are done. You already have 3 witches of the Eastwick on SCOTUS right now. One of them is an unbelievable DEI hire directly out of Biden's mouth. I am going to get a black woman on the court. And here we have Jackson, who, I'm not a biologist, I don't know what a woman is, and I don't understand, is on the highest court in the land. So, if one of them pass away, and we need the House and the Senate because they will not, let's say one passes away, God forbid, right now. Oh man, I got a cough. If we don't have control of the House or the Senate, we're not going to be able to get an appointee passed. They're not going to let us do it. The Dems were not. They want some left-wing radical in there. Justice Sotomayor. Y'all kidding me? Obama appointed her. First Latino. And the other one, was it Kagan? I'm not married and never will be, and I don't have children. Why do you ask me these questions? Wow. For instance, a judge's decision to release an undocumented immigrant on bail, even if they later commit a crime, is typically immune as it is a core judicial function. Why? If you already knew he was illegal, why are you letting him out in the public amongst us? What is happening here? Again, I beg the question. This should be a no-brainer. I don't understand. However, immunity does not extend to non-judicial acts, administrative or personal actions, or if the judges acts without jurisdiction, which they are. They try to interfere all over the country. Limits, I think they got all of them are on speed dial. All of them are communicating with each other. Federal courts have noted that immunity may not shield judges if their conduct involves active harboring outside jurisdictional duties. In sanctuary-related cases, some circuits suggest a narrow men's area, intent standard to avoid chilling humanitarian or official actions, but this varies. Prosecutors must still prove knowledge, reckless disregard, and substantial facilitation. Why go around even all of that the moment the cop picks up an illegal? I keep reiterating it. The moment they pick up an illegal, he has no papers, no documentation. They don't know nothing about this guy. He committed a crime. He should be detained, and ICE should pick him up and let ICE deal with it. Why are we letting regular courts and cities around America handle this? This should be immigration courts. Period. I think it just makes perfect sense. Let's see, in summary, while I think that's Article 1324, can theoretically apply to judges for active harboring, successful prosecutions are uncommon due to immunity defenses and the need for clear evidence of intent beyond judicial rulings. This is not legal advice, and they're telling me to consult an attorney. And yes, these laws are for all the states across America, by the way. They're for all of it. You ever asked yourself, what is sanctuary city policies? And why should this even be a policy? Why should there ever be a sanctuary city in America? Do you ask yourself that? Because I ask myself that all the time. This is retarded. Why should a state be able to do this? I get it. States are sovereign, can make their own laws, but to harbor? You're harboring. So what does that mean, guys? We just talked about you harbor, you employ illegals. They go commit a crime, they kill somebody, you can serve life in prison or the death penalty. So why whoever made these laws in a sanctuary state, whether the governor, the mayor, all of them created this law for sanctuary because they're going to harbor and they're going to employ. They're aiding and abetting an illegal alien, and that illegal alien goes and murders an American citizen. It's a no-brainer, right? Why are we not doing this? This seems so contradictory to me that how can you have this one law that says this for the whole United States, but then you have a city who says, oh, well, we don't have to abide by the executive branch or the judicial branch of these laws. We just create our own law. And we're saying no. We're just going to do what we want to do. Because we want these illegals here so they'll continue to vote for us. Legit, guys. Legit, that's what they're doing. Totally legit. Let's see. Sanctuary city policies refer to measures adopted by local jurisdictions, cities, counties, or states that limit cooperation with federal immigration enforcement, such as not honoring ICE detainees for individuals without serious criminal convictions. How do you know if these guys are going to commit a heinous crime? To me, this is retarded and stupid and dangerous. These cities, these states don't give a damn about their people. Because you're just saying, well, he just mugged somebody. I mean, because there's different levels of whatever they're considering to be, what are they saying? Limited to cooperation, federal immigration forces, such as honoring detainees for individuals who serious crimes. Serious crimes? Okay, so the one guy, he didn't commit that serious of a crime, but we're going to keep him here. We're not going to abide by ICE. We know he's illegal. And then that same individual gets in a car. Maybe he stole the car. Obviously, he doesn't have insurance. He doesn't have a driver's license. He's illegal. He's drunk. And he kills a family. Then what? Then what? So you were a sanctuary policies referred to measures adopted by local judicial city, counties, and states that limited cooperation with ICE immigrants, such as not honoring ICE detainers for individuals without serious criminal convictions. So what happens when all the scenario I just said happens? Nothing's going to happen to any of those city officials or those judges. But you have some American citizens dead because of this. Or prohibiting local law enforcement from inquiring about immigration status. These policies aim to build trust between immigrant communities and police. What? This is retarded. Why do you need trust? You should trust all the people, not because they're immigrant or minority or majority. We're all equal. What is happening here? This annoys me. What? You have to build trust. You should be building trust to everybody. Good Lord. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, prohibiting law enforcement for inquiring about immigration status. These policies aim to build trust. Trust for communities and police. Engaging crime reporting and witness cooperation without fear of deportation. They shouldn't be here in the first place. We don't know if these people are going to commit heinous crimes. I don't know. And the judges and the police and ICE, nobody knows. Why take that chance? Why take that chance? Get them out, and then they can come back later. The right way. They need to be vetted. And they don't need to be a negative net gain on society. That's a whole nother show. You know what? We're the only country pretty much on the planet that doesn't require ID to vote. This is retarded. And why? It's because the left wants to replace us. And if you think that's just way out there, Rochelle, with tinfoil hat on, you've been under a rock. You have not been paying attention that we are being invaded. And if we continue on the path we are, we might buy ourselves another 14 years, because I saw a graph last night. It says, excuse me, within 2047, white people are going to be the minority, and so are blacks. You're going to have Mexicans and Muslims outnumber us all. Hey, black people, you think you have been a minority all this time? You're going to even be more of a minority, and so are the whites. Well, low IQ third world invaders, they can't make technology. They're not going to be able to keep up with the infrastructure. So I don't know what's going to happen. Because why would white people, yeah, I said it, gonna want to help? Like, nope. Y'all are the majority. We're just going to sit over here and ride it out. We're just going to ride it out. I mean, that's what the Muslims want. I've heard them say it. That's what they want. They want us to go back. They don't want all this technology. They think being highly educated or somehow it's going to make you an atheist or something retarded. The impacts of these policies are debated, with research often showing neutral or positive effects on public safety and the economy, while critics argue they undermine enforcement, enable crime. And what is he saying below? Breakdown, keep on. Okay, let's see what this is. Let's see what's happening. All right, are we learning anything yet? And I'm having our crash course in civics class today. Let's do a little housekeeping. Remember the blue book. The blue book. This is the book of retards of 2026. The retard book. This book is retarded. Got 2 pages already full of people who have already made the retard list, right? So, at the end of the year, we will go over this book. Maybe we can pick the top 10 retards of 2026. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have somebody that you think that's in high profile, either in politics, movies, music, podcasters, whatever it is, if you think and you have found that they are literally retarded over whatever they've said, they've done in the year 2026, because we're focusing on this year, that let me know in the description. In the comment section, and let me know who you think should make the retarded, should be entered into the book of retards of 2026. And yes, I do need to get a heading on there. Put something on the front for a description of the book. Retards of 2026. And you want to join in on identifying and calling out the retards. So we need to know who it is and what they did to make them retarded. So we need that information. This is what I added in the book too, by their name. And then I put why they made the retard list. So you got to have their name, and then why are they retarded? Right? We have to identify. We have to identify impact on crime and public safety. All right, let's get through this, guys. Multiple peer-reviewed studies in analyzing and indicate that sanctuary policies do not increase crime rates and may even reduce them by fostering community trust, leading to higher crime reporting and better policy efficiency. Bull. Okay, so y'all know that police chief woman, I forgot what her name was, in D.C., that resigned because they found out, and I knew something was up. I had this feeling something was up, and I think this is happening in other blue states. They have underreported crime. So I'm not buying that. And this is telling me, for example, so I'm not buying it because I think they have underreported their crimes. Or people are, now obviously we have, like, let's say we have 2 illegals. And they get in something happens. And there's a crime being committed. Either one was assaulted or put in the hospital or whatever. The other one's not going to report the crime. Because then they'll both, boom, they're in trouble. Right? Because they're here illegally. So they're not going to report the crimes. And there's been a lot of this going on. And I've heard people talk about it. In 2027, analysts of U.S. counties found that 35.5 fewer crimes per 10,000 people in sanctuary counties compared to non-sanctuary ones, attributing this to local police focusing on community safety rather than immigration enforcement. BS! I think this is because, like I said, these crimes have been underreported or not. They haven't been reported at all. At all. Post-2014 data showed violent and property crimes decreasing more in sanctuary counties than sanctuary ones. Bull! Look at all the crime that was in D.C. before Trump brought in the militia. And the crime went away. But then when they looked at the stats, they figured something was wrong. Because the police chief and them were underreporting the crimes. So these stats are wrong. I am absolutely, positively sure of this. Let's see. 2020 study confirmed no detectable effect on overall crime rates, but noted reductions in domestic violence reports amongst Hispanic women in sanctuary areas due to increased reporting. Nope. It was a decrease. They do not report. They don't want to cause problems. Broader reviews, including a 2017 sociological analyst, found no link between sanctuary policies and higher crime, emphasizing the eroding trust, though, through enforcement, collaboration, harms public safety. I don't believe that. I think it's all been underreported because they don't want to rock the boat. They just don't want to rock the boat. And somebody stole their lawnmower or stole a bicycle or whatever the case may be. It's just not getting unreported. And also, there was a stat I saw, and I think it was about in D.C., when they were underreporting these crimes, they were changing violent crimes to a lower crime. Like somebody was brought in for a certain crime. And then it was broken down to something even less. So there was a bunch of that going on as well. Go Google it and see. Let's see. Critics, including conservative policymakers and law enforcement groups, argue that these policies shield criminals, allowing undocumented individuals with prior offenses to remain and reoffend, citing high-profile cases like murders by released immigrants. Big time, guys. Big time. For instance, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has stated that sanctuary policies provide a shield for criminals and put Americans in danger, highlighting instances where victims were harmed by individuals who evaded deportation. However, studies show sanctuary policies reduce deportation primarily for nonviolent offenders with no impact on those with violent records. Again, I'm going to say, you don't know what these people are going to do. They're going to get drunk. They're going to get drunk and get in a car and kill people. We've already seen this happening. Impact on economy. And this has been another thing with the impact on the economy. Like I heard some left-wing turd say the other day, like, well, if all these people leave, we're going to have all these empty jobs. Well, we're already fighting for American resources, food, housing, employment. We're competing with the invaders who are coming in to replace us. We're competing with them. And I'll tell you what, there's a huge percentage of them, way above 50% of all these illegals and these people who have visas, had got visas, and maybe they did get granted citizenship, they're all on some kind of a federal assistance. They are a negative net gain on the economy. They're a drain on the economy. Sanctuary, Jurisdictions often exhibit stronger economic indicators as policies encourage immigration participation in the workforce and reduce fear of deportation, leading to higher productivity and tax contributions. Bull, bull, bull. And a lot of them are, what? Uh, d- Identity theft? We've got that's been going on for years. And this is a lie. This is no. They are a negative gain on society. And most of their jobs, too, are jobs that our young people should be having while they're in school. These are the jobs that Americans should be using until they can use it as a stepping stone, which that's what it was when I was young. And a lot of these jobs these people do. Because their IQ is either 75 and under, which is considered retarded. Did y'all know that blacks in America's average IQ is 85? Now, granted, you have blacks like Thomas in the SCOTUS. I mean, he's really intelligent. I really admire him. Man, we've got a lot of really intelligent black men who are way smarter than I would ever be or could even imagine to be. But this is an average. Their average IQ is 85. A white's average is 100 and above. Did y'all know that, what's his name, Jimmy Carter passed a bill, and it was just now changed by Trump. We've had this bill. We've had this. It's called something. It's like a binding. Forgive me on what it's called, but y'all can go look it up. But it had been binding through each different administration. So I can't go into the details of how Trump got this changed, but y'all can go Google it and find out. But Jimmy Carter, because blacks were not getting hired for government jobs. Like, what? What? Is this discriminating? Blacks back in the 70s were going and taking the tests. But guess what? Their counterpart whites were scoring high and getting the jobs. Okay. Well, somebody came along and said, something must be wrong. You're discriminating against blacks. So they go look at the test. Like, well, maybe we need to change the test. So what it was is somebody in the somebody who they're connected with in the Carter administration says, well, I know how we can do this. And this is a system that probably needs to go away. From how I understand it, is they get one of their buddies to go, hey, I'm just going to sue the government. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you because this is racist. You're not hiring black people. So somebody in the Carter administration says, okay, you can sue me. Let's go. So they win. And so now they got to figure out, okay, so how are we going to do this? So guess what? They changed the test. Lo and behold, whites score higher than blacks. Is it still racist? Or is it IQ? We can't ignore facts. And I would think any educated black person would agree. Wouldn't you want to be hired based on your abilities, not on the color of your skin? So guess what? How many times? Guys, it was over 10 times they changed this test. They gave up. They gave up taking them the test because the blacks still couldn't pass it. So they gave up on the test. So then they would just ask them questions. Well, how would you do this job? How do you feel about doing this and this? So we've had for decades, since the 70s, people in government that should not be there, that are handling very important things. This is insane to me. I would think even if I don't even know what my IQ is. I don't think it's very high, to be honest with you. But just me thinking is that I want a high IQ person to be running government stuff that affects us, affects our lives, judgment calls. Do you want somebody with low IQ flying your plane? I don't care what color they are. If they're at 85 down, no. And I don't care if you're what color you are. Now, there's variance in white people, of course. Not all white people are 100 and above, but we're talking average here. That's how they do it. You tell me. Trump got this removed. So apparently, this is a way of getting around because they couldn't just come out and do this, right? Apparently, this is a way for government or somebody who has an agenda to get around. Well, we could just sue the government. And then let's say the person who sues the government, they win because guess what the government can do? And this is what the government did in the Carter administration. Say, oh, well, we don't want to go to court. We'll settle. Okay, so what's the agreement here? Well, we'll just change the test. Well, they changed the test. Guess what? Lo and behold, you can't change IQ. I don't understand it. I really don't. How we allow it. But apparently, guess what? Trump's like, well, we're gonna play your game as well. They went and did the same thing, and now we're gonna start having these people tested before they go in and do something. Before they're given a position. I think logically, even if you were a low IQ, you would think, my God, I don't want to get on this plane if this person was a DEI hire because his test was dumbed down than the other guy. Just chew on that. Just chew on that. Where are we at? Impact. Overall, the scholarly consensus is the immigrants included undocumented ones committed crimes at lower rates than native-born citizens. Sanctuary policies enhance this by promoting cooperation. Bull. Let's see. Impact. Sanctuary jurisdictions often exhibit stronger economic indicators as policies encourage immigrant participation in the workplace and reduce fear of deportation, leading to higher productivity and tax contributions. So we did read that, and I think that is a bunch of crap because they're not reporting. We don't have accurate stats. We don't have accurate stats. Key findings include median households income is about $4,353 higher in sanctuary counties. Poverty rates at 2.3% lower, unemployment 1.1 lower, and labor force participation higher. Wow. Undocumented immigrants contribute over $37 billion in state, local taxes annually, and mass deportation opposed by sanctuary policies could shrink. No, I don't believe it at all. I don't believe that. For one, look at the billions in fraud from Somalia's third world pirate invaders' low IQ. They're nothing but thieves because that's all they can do. They can't build infrastructure. They look at their country. It's a crap hole. This is $37 billion in state and local taxes annually help the country? Apparently it doesn't, ladies and gentlemen. Because look, 80? Is it 80%? Anywhere from 75 to 85% of Somalians, whether they've been here 10 years or a year, 85% of the population just in Minnesota are on welfare. They're a negative net gain. How is this is ridiculous. And plus, I forgot what the percentage was of how much these people send money back to their country. And we already saw them in Minnesota. What were they doing? They were sending millions a week to Somalia. Opponents claim these policies attract more undocumented migration, straining resources in local economics. through evidence for this is limited. No, I think it's been right in front of our face. Impact. Immigration enforcement sanctuary policies reduced overall deportation by about 1/3 to 1/2, mainly affecting non-criminal immigrants while having little effect on violent offenders. This limits federal force multipliers like local police assistance potential, allowing more undocumented individuals to remain, but proponents argue it prevents family separation and economic disruption. Bull. They can go back together, and it's not going to disrupt anything. If you get out these illegals, there should be no unemployment whatsoever. There are jobs. There are going to be jobs. Let's see. Critics view this as defying federal law, though courts have upheld the states cannot be compelled to enforce immigration. Well, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. We're going to wrap this up with some words from my guy, Branca. We're going to wrap it up with him. Okay, so we're going to hear something from Victor Hanson Davis, which you guys need to check him out. This older gentleman right here, man, he is amazing. You can find him on X and you can find him on YouTube. He is with the Daily Caller as well.
Preeminent historian. If you don't know who this guy is, you're doing it wrong. I first came across Victor Davis Hanson reading his academic historical text about the Peloponnesian? The wars between Sparta and Athens.
I mean, the guy is a genius, and he's been really ill. He had something in one of his lungs, and he's just now gotten back and did some YouTube videos the past few days. And I've been worried about him. I was like, Lord, please, heal him, because he's an amazing, intelligent man, and it's something that we need. And I love hearing him talk, so you need to really check him out. He's so brilliant.
On the word now. Oh my God, they're fantastic. They're almost military fiction, but they're true. It's amazing. And of course, he's written extensively about World War II, many other factors, many other major wars, and brilliant writing in World War II. And of course, he does a lot of, these days, political commentary on modern issues, including this one involving Karen Bass. So if you're not following Victor Davis Hanson, he's got tons of videos on YouTube too, all free. You should check them.
If you don't know who Karen Bass is, she's a mayor of Los Angeles. She is a retard.
I'm all out. He's fantastic. This is what he has to say about LA Mayor Karen Bass and her efforts to engage in insurrection against the national government. Whoops. Karen. Let me bump up the volume. I always forget to do that. I did remember my earplugs though.
Karen, have you ever read the Constitution? You're not an independent sovereign nation. You're not South Carolina in 1861. This is not Fort Sumner. You can't do this. You're nullifying the federal government. You're subject to federal laws. You can't tell Los Angeles people, don't pay your income tax, federal income. That's a felony to do that. Ask Gavin. He said that essentially. He can be prosecuted if people do not pay their income tax. You can't tell a federal officer he has no jurisdiction. He has jurisdiction over the entire United States.
Boom.
He can go anyway. It's not just a federal courthouse in Los Angeles. He can go anywhere if it's a matter of federal law. And that's what immigration is. So you have no jurisdiction.
Hear, hear. Victor Davis Hanson calling it like it is. Here's another video clip I want to share with all of you.
So he's calling it like it is. And again, we just went over a whole bunch of stuff too, guys. It's like, why are we letting this happen? Why are we letting this happen? And it's been happening for decades and nothing until Trump comes along and says, what is happening? I think what really probably, which I wish Trump would have done something in his first term, but it's like we had a tsunami during Biden. A tsunami of third world low IQ invaders. And then Trump's like, my God, we got to do something about this.
From Kevin Kiley. Here we go. California congressman. Says Karen Bass is now giving cash cards to illegal immigrants, quote unquote, affected. Affected with an A. by ICE. To get one, you just have to say you're too afraid to go to work. Any of you ever get to say that? To hand out the
Now this stream right here was aired July 12th, 2025.
cash he's chosen, Churla. Remember we talked about Churla the other day, the guy with the Churla ball cap, the terrorist with the tire disabling gadgets, the nails through the rubber hoses, carrying them around in a Churla bag. Churla given tens of millions of taxpayer dollars by the city of LA to orchestrate resistance to the enforcement of national immigration law. They hand out pamphlets and flyers alerting people to call their hotline so they can send squads of insurrectionists any place ICE is operating to enforce American immigration law. That's
Unbelievable.
Churla.
And
To
they
hand out this cash he's giving to harbor illegal alien third world invaders from ICE, which is a felony, by the way, a felony punishable by death. This is the same nonprofit that instigated the LA riots in the first place after getting $34 million in funds. Let's see what Kevin Kiley has to say.
When I heard this news about the cash payments, I thought this cannot possibly be true. But then on reflection, I thought, of course it's true, because California already provides the most generous benefits for illegal immigrants of any state by far. Newsom has driven Medicaid insolvent by giving out free comprehensive benefits for everyone.
This is how to tell if
$5 billion.
But keep in mind, remember, they all come out and said, remember Hakeem Jeffries, all of them come out and even Chuck U. Schumer on the Senate floor saying, no, it's a lie. The Republicans are lying to you. No illegals are getting benefits. None of them. Not one of them.
$1 a year is being spent by California alone.
Billions.
On free, meaning American taxpayer funded, health care for illegal immigrant third world invaders just in California. That's why I say these illegal immigrant third world invaders are consuming scarce American resources like human locusts, healthcare, education, housing, social services, and more by the billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. Those are all scarce American resources that are no longer available for American citizens. You know what you get when you have mass deportation of 100 million illegal migrant third world invaders? You get affordable healthcare. You get affordable housing. You get upgraded educational opportunities. You get vastly increased employment opportunities and wages. I just saw reported that measles is making a huge resurgence in America. It didn't spontaneously come back into being, folks. It's being brought into the nation by tens of millions of illegal migrant third world invaders whose health status wasn't vetted in any way.
And, okay, so him saying that, then you have people in America who are like, oh, man, I don't want to get my kid vaccinated because I don't trust the government. I don't trust the government. And I get it. I get it. Now, they were doing this pre-COVID. Now, obviously, post-COVID, we're like, man, we really don't trust the government. When they tell us you need to get the jab, and then boom, people are dropping dead, blood clots, heart problems, blah, blah, blah. But pre-COVID, for years, we've been having people come out and like don't want mandatory vaccines. I think Florida just passed a law that they're not going to have mandatory vaccines. But I had my kids vaccinated. Yes, I had to read. Yeah, there's some risks. But I think the risks of them not getting vaccinated is greater. It's greater than the statistics of what could happen if they do get it. So if they don't get it, the risks are greater. Now you have hundreds of thousands, hundreds of millions, he's saying, of people coming in. We don't know what they've got. We don't know what they got. So they're coming in, and now you have Americans not vaccinating their children. I would think that after 60, 80 years of getting vaccinated for smallpox, measles, what's the other one? Diphtheria. Forgive me if I don't know them all, but there was a handful that we all got vaccinated for. Right? I mean, and statistically, the benefits outweighed the risks of a society. But now you have measles coming back because these people are coming. It's just another reason why to shut the thing down.
Way before they walked over the border, bringing their third world diseases with them. You want a United States without measles? Keep out the illegal immigrant third world invaders.
Boom.
And I'm no
Boom.
big fan of the legal ones either.
And now Bass is giving out these free cash cards. And apparently one of the ways you can get one is if you're too afraid to go into work. Well, number one, this fear, to the extent that it exists, is largely driven by Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom, who have purposely incited fear and driven these rioters into a state of frenzy. But number two, if we say that if you're too afraid to go to work, you get free cash payments, I think that all of a sudden we're going to find there are a lot more people who are suddenly too afraid to go into work. But the real kicker in all this is that Karen Bass has chosen, of all groups, Churla to distribute the cards. Now remember, this is the group that got $34 million in funding and then played a central role in organizing the riots.
All right. And
Go look up Karen Bass. Let me get a more flattering picture
hey, Dylan.
if I could get a good picture of my guy Branca. I'll leave this link in the description as well of Branca, so you can go check out his latest stuff. He's fabulous. I watch his show. If I can't get to it during the day, which most of the time I can't, I definitely watch his show in the evening. And I did bump up the playback. It was a little fast. So that's how I have to get through content to educate my brain, so I can get through more content in the evening before I'm tired and pass out. So every night, and he's usually live every day, y'all. Mostly every afternoon, he runs a live show, and he did one today as well, which I'm going to watch later on sometime today, probably this evening during dinner. I do usually have my dinner watching Branca, and he's going to be talking about some Hispanic judge. It's all for illegals. And I am curious to see what's going to happen with that. Because, guys, I've learned so much from him. It's amazing. And always remember, the learning never stops. So we got a great civics lesson today. We have legislation. Branch is the Congress. Executive branch is president and his agencies, which he is over these agencies, which one of these black robe tyrannical judges tried to stop Trump from firing people. Why would he not be able to fire these people who are under his branch, his authority? And yes, he was found to, yes, he can do this. And then you have judicial branch, which is the courts. And our brilliant forefathers created these branches to keep each other in check, because we didn't want a dictator, a monarchy. No, what do we have? We have legislation branches. The three branches who check each other. And always remember, guys, the judicial branch does not get to dictate to the President of the United States in Article 2 to tell him he can't get illegals out of this country. That's a whole nother show, which I learned that from the Andrew Branca show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this show, and I hope we've learned something together. I'm angry about this. I want to know why these laws aren't getting enforced that are on the books, and potentially stop. What is this guy? Let me get back to this. This guy, and his name is Blades Indiglo. Wait a second. I got it pulled up here. Blaze Ngolia. Blaze Ngolia. Guys, I had to look it up, man. I couldn't pronounce. I didn't even know what was happening. But he calls for politicians to be imprisoned and judges to be removed and stripped of their pensions for aiding illegal aliens. I think they should be thrown in prison. And again, if the ones that they let go and they aided and abetted, and those illegals killed an American citizen, they should be life in prison or the death penalty. You let me know what you think about all of this. And there you go. There you have it. The show went long, but hey, it's got to cover. Branca shows are long too, but he's way more entertaining than I am. But there you go, guys. And always remember, make sure to like and subscribe and share, because what is there not a lot to like? And also, sharing is caring. And always remember, never ever be And the learning never stops.